I was about to ask you, how did you manage even like, I mean, you put out some crazy ass content. I'm sure it requires a lot of research. Like, how the hell did you manage putting that shit out when you're working 90 to 100-hour weeks? Like, that's insane, dude.
Yeah, it was.
Is that passion? Is that passion you're talking about? Is that like, I need to fucking do this because I want to get the fuck out of here?
Right. I mean, part of it, man, was like if uh, I felt like I was in control of my destiny, like if I work harder, I make more money, or if I work harder, I have the opportunity to do what I want to do. Um, Whereas before, working for someone else, if you work harder, you get a better pat in the back, you know? Um, and so that fired me up. And I knew that if I woke up earlier, if I worked later, that means I could live my life faster, you know? Um, and so that fired me up. And so I did that probably from honestly kind of still, but that's just because at this point I'm just so used to it and so excited to do it that I keep doing it. Um,
I love it.
but it's exciting because you get if you work harder, you get to create the life you want to live, and that's kind of what I'm all about right now.
That's amazing.
I might one thing I might add just to both. I don't want to speak for Brian, but I know Brian well enough to know that this is also true. But or Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but like it also takes like a lot of time and like you have to be consistent. And there's a lot of really tough, shitty times where you put something out and you're like, I think this is amazing. Everybody's going to care and love this. And like, nobody gives a shit. And you have to be willing and okay to be like, that might happen a lot, a lot, a lot. And just like keep being okay with that. I mean, there are even some times where I'm like, oh, this is going to be amazing. 6 people care or whatever. Like, and I think that that is such an important aspect. It's not as if everything is just like perfect, at least for me, not as if everything's perfect now and like things are going swell. Like, there's still a ton of really hard and bad shit that's consistently happening. So I want to reiterate that that is an important aspect still going on every single day.
Yeah, no, that's a good point because I mean it's definitely not roses, right? It's not perfect. So just like life isn't perfect, right? Um, but you're in control of your life, and that's what's exciting to me. But to your point, Harris, like at the beginning, especially at the beginning, I always thought everything I put out was gold, right? Because if I didn't, I wouldn't have put it out, right? Um, but it's not like there's so much to learn. Like I didn't know what copywriting was. I had no idea. I didn't know how to build an audience, right? I didn't have like I didn't know how to distribute my content. And so I always say the ability to build an audience is two things. It's great content, great distribution. Distribution is a lot easier because it's easier in the sense that you know what you don't know. Like if I have two friends on Twitter, I know my distribution is not good. There's no question. If I have 50 friends on Twitter, I know it's good. The great content part is the hardest part because every person thinks they have good content, right? Um, and then the next day you learn something, and then you look back at your content and was like, wow, that was actually terrible. And so that's the hardest part to me because you don't know what you don't know.
And I remember you, Brian, saying one time, I think it was on the podcast or you and I were chatting about something, and you said, man, I woke up one day, I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna write, and I pulled something from an old thread, and that tweet ended up doing better than like 90% of the stuff that I posted prior to that.
Yeah, it's sometimes there you just don't things that you think would go really well just don't, or and things that you have didn't even plan on do really well. Especially, I mean, after Labor Day, the algorithm changed, and so now we're dealing with a whole new Twitter algorithm, right? And it's a new rules. So we're still trying to figure out like I have theories and all that kind of stuff, but we're trying to figure out like okay, we knew what content worked well in the old algorithm. We don't know what content's working out today.
Right, right, exactly. I always say it's the good content, it's the right person at the right time, and it's the person that ends up going through and actually reading and commenting on it and has that distribution, like you said, whether they have like a 20, 30, 50,000 person following and they really click and they're like, this is worth sharing with my audience. That's when those things you're just like, oh shit, this just hit and I didn't even have any expectations. I remember my biggest thread to date was something I woke up on Saturday and I was like looking through my Upwork channel and I was like And I was like, man, there's so much here. And I just literally sat there, wrote out the whole thing. I sent it. And I went off to that night. I went off to have dinner with my girlfriend, and literally put my phone. It just went bing, bing, bing. Like, I was like, what the fuck is this? I thought my mom or somebody was trying to get a hold of me. And I look up, and it's just like, when you just see the thing just going through. And then I was like, dude, I need to silence this. I came home and it was like 700 likes. And I was like, what the fuck happened here? Like, I'm trying to go back and see like who retweeted and so I had no idea. I was just like, man, I'm just trying to share with people how I ran my Upwork thing, and I just put a couple screenshots and whatever else, and it was amazing. So yeah, it's sometimes you think like the best shit that you spend, weeks on end to try to put together, and you sit there and you're just like, wait, 6 likes, 8 likes, why? What did I do wrong? You start to question everything you've been doing up to that point. But no, that's awesome, man. And to be to take the time to just say I've actually learned a ton from both of you, just because not only the consistency part, but I also think like the niching down. I'm kind of at this point now where I'm getting ready to move into more product side of things, and really going deeper and deeper into that level, because now I'm balancing a couple different things with service and all this, and just even looking at the content you guys are doing, and the consistency and the depth. I think the depth of the content is what really really hits differently. So I just want to give you guys your flowers, because it's been awesome seeing you guys growing and connecting with you guys. So I just want to take a quick second to let you guys know that it's been fucking killer to watch you guys grow and post some amazing stuff.